Governor Soludo restates resolve to restore effective security infrastructure in Anambra. Anambra State Government initiates measures to reclaim school lands encroached upon by communities and property developers. Nigeria Customs Service urges Standard Organization of Nigeria to upgrade ICT infrastructure to enhance partnership. Australia intensifies measures to halt surge in COVID infections. Before the news in details, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Nonye Mokoye. Now, the government of Anambra State has announced plans to remove illegal structures defacing the environment beyond Onitsha to other parts of the state in the coming weeks. This was part of resolutions at the Anambra State Executive Council meeting held at Government House, Oka. Ejike Abana has details of that report.
According to a post-ANSEC release by the Commissioner for Information, Sir Paul Nwosu, land belonging to many community secondary and primary schools have been massively encroached on by some host communities and developers, which he said is unacceptable, stressing that government is seriously looking to recover the portions of land. The release added that as part of measures to achieve this within the ambits of the law, government is seeking to quickly amend land laws so that land grabbing will be criminalized. He further noted that as a responsive government, ANSEC has set up a committee to review payment claims by contractors of the previous administration to ascertain if the contracts were awarded in line with due process and if they were completed or not, among others. According to the release, the Anambra State Finance Commissioner, Mr. Ifeatu Onejeme, is the chairman of the committee, while the committee has till September to complete its work. It further explained that having discovered that some native doctors provide charm with which gunmen operate, it has become necessary to enumerate and register them as practitioners and categorize them into herbalists and spiritualists, noting that while government appreciates that some of them add value to healthcare, it is also not unaware that they have helped to imbue these criminals with the daredevil confidence that has driven them into committing despicable crimes as kidnapping, extortion of ransom, beheading, among others, adding that where they are found culpable in such crimes, it will be easy to fish them out from the register. The release said that during the meeting also, a revenue committee was constituted comprising the chairman of Anambra Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Richard Madiebo, Commissioner for Market and Industry, Dr. Obinna Ngonade, Special Advisor to the Governor, Medicals and Pharmaceuticals, Dr. Godwin Nnadozie, as well as Managing Director, Information Communication Technology Agency, Mr. Chukwuemeka Agbata, with the responsibility to disaggregate the various revenue waste management through the demand notices issued in order to determine where greater effort will be channeled. It also disclosed that following the last teachers' computer-based test, a total of 6,250 candidates have been shortlisted, made up of 3,250 for primary schools and 3,000 for secondary schools, and disclosed that the oral interview has been scheduled to commence on the 27th of July 2022 and will last for 2 weeks. The release explained that the interviews, which will come in batches, will hold at Igwebike Grammar School, Oka, St. John of God Secondary School, Oka, and Asobeb Headquarters, Oka. High point of the ANSEC meeting was presentation of a souvenir from the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Sui Jianchuan, to Governor Chukwuma Soludo through the Commissioner for Culture, Entertainment and Tourism, Mr. Don Onyenji. The envoy is expected to visit Anambra State again later in October, where it is planned that he will set up a cultural center in the state. From the Government House, Oka, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo has congratulated the Labour Party presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi, who clocked 61 years on Tuesday. In a congratulatory message signed by his press secretary, Mr. Christian Aburime, Governor Soludo described Obi as a good manager of men and resources who gave his best in service to Anambra during his time in office. The governor encouraged Obi to devote the remaining part of his life in service to humanity, praying that God gives him more rewarding years ahead. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has recited the commitment of his administration to ensuring effective security of life and property across the state. The governor was speaking during a valedictory session in honor of the late member who represented Agota Constituency 2 at the Anambra State House of Assembly, Mr. Okechukwu Okoye. The event took place at the Anambra State House of Assembly complex in Awka. And a Government House correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo now reports.
Governor Soludo, who was represented by his deputy, Dr. Onyeka Chukwuibezim, while commiserating with the Okoye family over the loss, assured that the murder of the late House member would be the last of its kind in the state, as his administration is poised to fight crime and criminality headlong and to ensure that perpetrators of the dastardly act are brought to book. Borrowing the words of Chinua Achebe, in Things Fall Apart, the governor regretted that things have really fallen apart in this part of the world, especially in the area of value for life, reminding the Anambra and the entire Igbo race that they are not known for killings and spilling of innocent blood. Professor Soludo, however, called on members of the State House of Assembly to give his administration maximum support to accelerate the needed solution challenges presently facing the state, including insecurity.
It's overtaking Christianity. Our people, the Igbo race, the Anambra people in particular, can do everything to save life. We are witnessing a different scourge. The governor has resolved that this is just one death too many. If this will be the last, he's already taken it to them. This is not peculiar to Anambra State, not peculiar to Nigeria. The world is witnessing a paradigm shift. For us in Anambra State, ceaseless times, Mr. Governor, says this is not the behavior of our people.
In a speech, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Uche Okafor, described the late Mr. Okoye as one of the outspoken and articulated lawmakers in the state. According to him, his sense of humor and disposition, as well as the mastery of the rules of the House, distinguished him among his colleagues, and prayed God to grant his family the fortitude to bear the loss.
The late Honorable Okechukwu Okoye can best be described as one of the finest, outspoken and articulated lawmakers. His sense of humor and humane disposition, as well as his mastery of the rules of the House, distinguished him amongst his colleagues. He was indeed a man of the people and selfless politician. The short but eventful life of our late colleague was full of quality service to God and humanity.
Recall that the late Mr. Okoye, who hails from Isuofia in Agwata local government area, was abducted on the 15th of March this year and was gruesomely murdered thereafter by unknown gunmen. From the State House of Assembly in Awka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo, reporting for ABS News.
May God continue to be with the family of the bereaved. Now, Anambra State Government has held its first ever maternal mortality review meeting in the state. The review, which was held at the State Ministry of Health Conference Room, Awka, was attended by top personnel from government-owned hospitals, missions, as well as private hospitals. Our health correspondent Chibuzo Okoye reports.
Addressing participants at the event, the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afamo Bidike, said that the review meeting was to ascertain the causes of death of a woman during or after delivery, as that is in the agenda of the Governor Chukwuma Soludo's health initiative of giving quality healthcare services to the Anambra. Dr. Obidike maintained that the review was not aimed at apportioning blames on anybody, rather to ensure that the state works hard to reduce maternal mortality to the barest minimum.
We want to encourage the hospitals to report, even people, not only the hospitals, to report any death that occurred of a woman during birth or immediately after birth. Our maternal mortality deaths in Anambra City, we want to reduce this drastically. So that's one of the things of this issue, and one of the ways to reduce it is to educate people that give the services. And we started it now, and it's going to be quarterly. People were educating them on what could happen, and it will help us to reduce it further. The pregnant women in the state, we want to make health care delivery in Anambra State to be safe and efficient.
The State Reproductive Health Coordinator, Dr. Ujokoye, said that the review was to give the best of services to childbearing mothers and revealed that from the data they collected from January to June 2022, there were 20 deaths in the states relating to maternal mortality.
We are doing a mortality review to find out actually why were these maternal deaths, what caused these maternal deaths, where the state government can come in, where the partners can come in, where the problems are coming from. If it's coming from the human resource, we know how to do corrective measure to that. So here we have NAHUT, COHUT, we have private hospitals like Rex Mission Hospital, we have general hospitals. There are hospitals, 9 hospitals that have keyed in their maternal deaths from January to June. So what we had from January to June in the platform was 20 maternal deaths. And so we're having a mortality review to review what caused these deaths.
In Oka, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, Anambra State Chapter, is seeking partnership with the Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS, in lifting the image of the state to an enviable height. The state chairman of NIPR, Professor Angela Nwamo, disclosed this when she led executive members of the chapter on a courtesy visit to the managing director of ABS, Sir Chido Obidiegu, at the ABS corporate headquarters in Oka. Our correspondent Emmanuel Chibata now reports.
Professor Nwamo, who is also the head of Mass Communication Department, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University, Igbariam, on behalf of the chapter, congratulated Sir Chido on his appointment as managing director of the establishment and noted that having strong partnership with the ABS will aid in projecting a good image of their government. She said that the chapter and ABS are working closely on programs to sensitize the people towards supporting Professor Chukwuma Soludo's policy and to ensure that people are security conscious.
Henceforth, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations Anambra State would like to partner with him in lifting the image of the state to greater heights as a way of supporting our dear governor as part of the Soludo solution strategy. NIPR and ABS will partner and come up with maybe a seminar or a conference or a summit where we will sensitize our people, on the need to always uphold what Mr. Governor has been preaching: see something, say something, in order to be security conscious.
Responding, Sir Chido thanked the chapter for the visit, noting that public relations practitioners have major roles to play in achieving Governor Soludo's vision of a prosperous homeland. Assuring of cordial relationship with the chapter, the managing director of ABS urged them to use their offices to correct erroneous impression of people on the activities of the state government.
Mr. Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo, who is placing emphasis on building a livable, prosperous, clean, green, secure, and smart homeland. There's a need for us, all our hands to be on deck, especially public relations practitioners who shape, and mold the opinion of people, who set the agenda, of what people discuss, especially with the state of insecurity we have, in the state, and in fact all over the country. You know, when the governor speaks to the fact that at all times when we see something, we should say something, also do something. The public relation practitioners have a major role to play. We need this symbiotic relationship, you know, where we work together to ensure that what goes out, you know, to the public is the real situation, because that is what the public, you know, what the practice of public relations is all about. So I want to welcome you, and our partnership would also resonate what the governor speaks about, the fact that at all times we should be part of the solution.
Other members of the executive who were part of the visit were the vice chairman of the chapter, Dr. Ikenna Umanolue, the treasurer Nnamdi Onwuzulike, and financial secretary Mrs. Jacinta Nwafo. In Oka, Emmanuel Shibata for ABS News.
Away now from state stories, the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Hamid Ali, has urged the Standards Organization of Nigeria to upgrade its information technology infrastructure to enable a smooth interface with the NICIS2 platform of the service. The customs boss stated this when the Director General of SAN, Farouk Salim, along with his management team, visited the NCS headquarters in Abuja. The CGC agreed that synergy between critical government agencies at the ports will greatly enhance efficiency and would do much good in protecting the nation as well as its citizens. On his part, the SAN Director General emphasized the strategic role played by the customs in the fight against the importation of substandard products. He also acknowledged the historical support given to his organization while requesting more strategic engagement in the light of their recent return to the port. The DG promised to do all in his power to make this a reality, while also requesting for customs officers to be trained in ISO certifications. On business news, the Monetary Policy Committee has increased the benchmark interest rate by 100 basis points from 13 to 14%, confirming its determination to continue with an aggressive monetary tightening should the inflation rate continue to rise. Chairman of the committee and Governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, said 6 out of the 11 members that attended the two-day meeting voted to sustain the decision. At a media briefing on the outcome of the meeting, Emefiele said the committee would not promise that it will not continue to increase the interest rate if inflation continues to surge in a manner that would retard growth. The CBN boss said the MPC was concerned about the continuous rise in the inflation rate despite the previous interest rate review. He, however, observed that inflation concern was not peculiar to Nigeria. Emefiele said the country's inflation is driven by both demand and supply factors, with the Apex Bank responding to the former with relevant monetary tools. He added that its interventions across different sectors of the economy have contributed immensely to reducing pressure from the supply side. On the foreign scene, Australians have been urged to work from home and wear masks indoors as the number of people in hospital with COVID-19 nears record levels. The country is in the midst of a third wave of coronavirus driven by the BA4 and BA5 Omicron subvariants, and earlier this month broadened access to second booster shots to deal with the surge in cases. Daily cases climbed to 50,248, the highest in 2 months. Addressing journalists, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said that working from home was a matter between companies and their employees, and noted that it was simply not possible for some people. Australia began relaxing strict health measures related to the coronavirus towards the end of last year, once most of the population had been fully vaccinated against the virus. But the high transmissibility of the Omicron variant has tested its plan of living with the virus. Australia has already reinstated support payments for casual workers who have to quarantine due to COVID-19. But while authorities recommend wearing masks indoors, they have not made it mandatory. On sports news, Nigeria Olympic Committee President Engineer Habu Gumel says he is full of positive expectations from Team Nigeria athletes heading for the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. 8 days to the commencement of the much-anticipated sporting fiesta in the UK, Gumel assured that every logistics needed to ensure a hitch-free movement and participation of Team Nigeria athletes have been put in place. Team Nigeria moved into a closed camp on Saturday, July 9 in Abuja, Lagos and Yenagoa, while the overseas-based athletes will open another camp in the United States of America, from where they will move to Birmingham for the Games. A total of 94 athletes will represent Nigeria in 9 sports, namely athletics, wrestling, judo, para-athletics, boxing, table tennis, para-table tennis, para-powerlifting and weightlifting, with athletics producing the largest contingent, 33, followed by wrestling, which has 11. Nigeria finished in 9th place at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia, winning 9 gold, 9 silver and 6 bronze medals, while her best performance ever was in Victoria, Canada in 1994, where she won 11 gold, 13 silver and 13 bronze medals to finish 4th. For that sports news, we come to the end of the news, but remember you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And the main news again. Governor Soludo has restated resolve to restore effective security infrastructure in Anambra. Anambra State Government has initiated measures to reclaim school lands encroached upon by communities and property developers. Nigeria Customs Service has urged Standard Organization of Nigeria to upgrade ICT infrastructure to enhance partnership. And on the foreign scene, Australia has intensified measures to halt surge in COVID infections. And here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo valleys. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nonya Mokoye. Good morning.